Kicking this list off, we have Frankenstein. Okay, not really the Dr. Frankenstein that we know and love, but the man who Mary Shelley based the novel off of, and around. Well, one of them at least. Mad scientists are still puzzled by the works of one Johann Conrad Dippel. Dippel was born at Castle Frankenstein in Germany, where he would attend university as a philosopher. He studied theology, philosophy, and alchemy at the University of Gießen, obtaining a master's degree in 1693. In the 1700s, he then turned to Hermetic studies and alchemy, and this is where it gets a little mad scientisty. There are claims that during his experiments at Castle Frankenstein, he practiced alchemy and anatomy at the same time, on both the living and the deceased. Yeah. Creepy. Dippel even said that the rumors were true that he had sold his soul to the devil in exchange for secret knowledge. Yeah, that'll do it. He had a huge reputation surrounding dark sorcery, specifically for his work around the Philosopher's Stone and his claim to fame, the elixir of life. He performed experiments with cadavers and attempted to transfer the soul of one to another. Yeah, he was obsessed with this idea of soul transference with barely and freshly dead people. Common experiments among alchemists at the time though. One night apparently while he was working with nitroglycerin and the effect on magnetism and electricity apparently led to the destruction and a huge explosion at Castle Frankenstein. It was this night that he apparently was messing around with lightning and the answer to all his ailments came to him. Local mythology and lore recounts huge explosions and lightning emitted from the castle that night. I guess this was a pretty infamous night. It seems like it's right out of the book, no? Apparently this was the night he acquired the knowledge behind creating the elixir of life, his pride and joy. So what exactly happened that night at Castle Frankenstein? Huge lightning storm, or was this guy opening portals looking for souls? You tell me. Number 4, electro. Okay, they were definitely onto something back then. Lots of magnets and souls and electricity going on. It's 1803. Giovanni Aldini was an Italian physician and physicist born in Bologna, Italy. He, just like the other Dr. Frankenstein, liked to conduct high amounts of electricity through corpses to see what they could do. Yeah, sinister stuff. But science, you know? They like to do these crazy experiments and then write it down and stuff. Lab coats, you know. I have a weak stomach. I could never have sat through these experiments. Since electricity was relatively new at the time, all these zany ideas from these mad scientists multiplied the more playing around with it. Soon, it became otherworldly. The obsession around electricity, magnets, souls, other realms, they were hypothesizing leading to some pretty evil stuff. In 1803, the fresh body of a murderer was pulled down from the gallows of Newgate Prison in London and taken to the Royal College of Surgeons for experimenting. There, before an audience of doctors and physicists, Giovanni attempted to breach realms and return the corpse from beyond the grave. Ooh, okay. Homemade batteries and magnets was used, which made the deceased muscles contort aggressively, and apparently his eyes even opened, looking around the room. Giovanni then stuck the rod where the sun don't shine, then made the whole body start to move about as if it had come to life. For years, he was the leading scientist in electricity and its effect on the body. Apparently, some claim that Aldini would even experiment on himself, pushing the limits and dialing up the voltage. Dude, this guy's Electro from Spider-Man. In recognition of his merits, the Emperor of Austria made him a Knight of the Iron Crown and died not many years later. And although he was unsuccessful at bringing souls back from the dead using electricity, I'm sure this guy experienced more than he shared. I wonder who has his journal. Number 3. No, I'm Spartacus. Actually, much more evil than him. Heinrich Müller. Born in Munich, Germany, April 1900. After serving as a pilot in World War I, he joined the police in Munich, soon acquiring a reputation as a skilled investigator. As such, he would draw the attention of 2 nastier men, Heinrich H. and Reinhard H., leaders of the German SS army. Yeah, I don't even like saying their full names out loud. Just Google them up, you'll know. Müller entered the SS in 1934 and quickly rose through the ranks of the organization as a police official. In 1939, when the Gestapo police force and the other organizations joined the Reich, Müller was made head honcho. Yeah, basically this guy was like next in charge to, you know who. He was a pretty scary and powerful guy. Müller was involved in a ton of criminal affairs. He helped plan the Polish attack, he signed the bullet order, he authorized the torture of officers who had conspired to kill other SS soldiers. People knew him and knew of him. He was, unfortunately, infamous and a huge deal. This is the weird part. When the Allies moved in and they arrested him, the man turned out to be another Müller. Okay. In fact, they couldn't find the Heinrich Müller, instead arresting many others of the same name. The head of the Gestapo wanted for crimes against humanity had vanished without even a trace. Gone. Even the CIA were like, okay, where the hell did this guy just go? He was just right here. He apparently vanished in the last days of the war. The Western Secret Services started many investigations over the years, but Müller and the vast majority of the Gestapo secret files were never found. In 2001, the CIA reopened its archives about the SS war criminal and revealed it still knew nothing new or conclusive about the SS Heinrich Müller, who had been in charge all those years ago. Where did this guy vanish to? I don't know. Number 2, us. Sure, I've had my fair share of sibling rivalry. One's better at this, one's better at that. But these siblings took it to a whole other realm. The Han twins, or as I like to call it, the story of good versus evil. A tale as old as time. Well, not that long ago, actually. During the 90s, this was a huge case plastered on every screen of the attempted murder of Sunny Han by her identical twin sister, Gina Han. Whoa. It's November 6, 1996 in California. It quickly became a jaw-dropping case in the media as the case touched on themes of broken families, sister rivalry, split personas, and of course, parallel universes. The sisters had always had disagreements, but apparently hatred became obsession. Throwing some hands here and there became stalking, and eventually jail time. The older they got, the more things escalated. Gina, after escaping prison, had drummed up the idea to hire 2 teenagers to kidnap her sister. Uh-oh. During the kidnapping, the plan, however, failed, and the 2 men were quickly taken into custody by police. Just before going to Sunny's apartment, they went to buy large garbage bags, duct tape, wine, gloves, Pine Sol cleaner, and magazines. Yeah. The police were notified and luckily reached them before Sunny's evil plan could commence. And it was a close one. They, including the evil sister, were locked and loaded. Literally. Scary. Yeah, as in she literally dodged a bullet on that one. This is like the Metal Mario version of yourself, isn't it? This is terrifying. Do you even think you could take an evil version of yourself? It's sad that it's family, you know? The jury reached their verdict as to each defendant on November 20th, 1997, and Han was convicted of all charges, which were 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder, 2 counts of burglary, 2 counts of false imprisonment, and 1 count of possession of a weapon. So why did she hate her sister so much? How come she wanted to take over her life and just live one? This has evil parallel universe written all over it, dude. And number 1, the gods. Peru contains its fair share of ancient megalithic ruins. I'll do it again, sorry. Peru contains its fair share of ancient megalithic ruins. If you're not familiar with the construction and myths behind the Machu Picchu and the Nazca lines, then this next one may make you scratch your head. Some would say those are cute compared to this next rock? I don't know. The door in Hayumarca, some think it's a wall, but most believe it becomes a portal to the beyond. The story of the Gate of the Gods, also known as Door of Hayumarca, begins near the banks of the Titicaca over half a millennium ago. According to Incan legend, the universe began here, and according to researchers, the Incan Empire fell here, somewhere around 1592. Peruvians tell the tale of an Incan priest who barely escaped slaughter from the conquistador forces. His name was Aramu Muru, and he was a powerful high priest who served in the Temple of the Seven Rays. To escape his imminent death at the hands of the Spanish army, Muru fled to Hayumarca with the help of other priests, and using a golden disc key, Muru opened the small door in the face of the rock, apparently venturing into another realm. According to legend, the stone door transformed into a bright tunnel that was lit with an unearthly blue light. Aramu Muru passed through the barrier and entered the void, upon which the door then closed behind him. Spooky. Many people believe that he is now living in the land of the gods. Many still believe he is to return with the knowledge of the other side. I mean, if this guy just like platform 9 3/4 himself through a perfectly sanded rock face, yeah, I'm gonna say it's ancient aliens. Right away, 100%. This site's also been said to be aligned by 5 other archaeological sites which together form an imaginary cross with straight lines crossing each other exactly at the point where this plateau and lake are located. That makes it even creepier.
Coming in at number 5, we have technology. The amount of technology we have access to and are able to use now is incredible, but 20 years ago these things seemed impossible. And this could be proof that parallel universes exist. Many believe we have been able to make all this new technology possible because of other dimensions. The evolution of technology over just the last 10 years is massive, and many wonder how all of this is possible. Technology is evolving so fast because of a phenomenon known as accelerating change. Each improvement of technology can create the next, stronger generations of technology at a faster rate. As each generation of technology is better than the last, it builds new technology faster. Even just back to the 1990s, the internet was just invented. It was a new commodity to all, but not everyone had access to it, and those who did had to deal with slow connection and dial-ups. Now in 2022, we have Teslas, wireless everything, iPhones, an app for literally anything, 5G, robots, cryptocurrency, drones, and so much more. We have so much available to us now, and the amount of technology we have created and have access to is mind-blowing. Only about 80 years ago was when the first electronic color TV system came out. How is it possible for this massive influx of technology in such a short amount of time? It wasn't that long ago that American inventor and businessman Thomas Edison invented the electric light bulb and phonograph. Looking back at things like that seems like thousands and thousands of years ago to how far we have come now. Edison is considered one of America's leading innovators, and today many would consider Elon Musk the new age Thomas Edison or Nikola Tesla. Many believe that the amount of technology we have access to and in such a short amount of time that there could quite possibly be the technology made to prove that parallel universes exist. In at number 4 we have dreams. Everyone has dreams. Some are pleasant while others can be nightmares. Some of the most common dreams are about falling, being chased, being able to fly, being naked in public, and our teeth falling out. For thousands of years, both scientists and people have been trying to decode our dreams and the meanings behind them. Many scientists say that some of our dreams may be glimpses into parallel universes. There are many people who actually study people's dreams, and it's the work of neurology. It's when they analyze brain waves during dreaming and study the findings and what they may mean. Ancient Greeks and Romans believed that dreams provided messages from the gods. The Chinese believed that dreams were a message from their dead ancestors, and many Native Americans believe that dreams are nothing but glimpses of a different world that none of us have ever visited. Thousands of years ago, mythics believed that dreams are what happen in a parallel universe, a place resided by ghosts and spirits. Some scientists have debunked the ghost theory, but many agree that they might be in a multiverse, the existence of many more universes other than our own. Many scientists theorize that there could be a copy of all of us in a parallel world, someone who was like you in many aspects. The life of this other you are identical to you in this universe but may do certain things differently. But since your timelines are different, the worlds never coincide, neither physically nor mentally. Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis and neurologist, says that the interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. He and many others believe that because dreams are such an unconscious activity, they give an almost direct insight into the workings of the unconscious mind and could be proof of parallel universes. In at number 3 we have time travel. Time travel is talked about by many conspiracy theorists, movies, TV shows, and many believe this is in fact exists, and if it does, then it proves that parallel universes may be true. It's the concept of movement between certain points in time, the movement between different points in space by an object or a person, typically with the use of a device known as a time machine. Time travel is widely recognized concept in philosophy and fiction, particularly science fiction. The idea of a time machine was popularized by H.G. Wells' 1895 novel, The Time Machine. One popular theory is that we could or possibly have moved through space and time via wormholes. A wormhole was first theorized in 1916 and is a tunnel-like connection which has 2 openings and is connected by a throat, and provides a path that a traveler could follow to a distant point. Wormholes can be made by joining the centers of black holes and white holes. This creates a tunnel through space and time. Many studied the possibilities things like wormholes, black holes, or portals could be direct links or doorways to another universe or dimension. Another mystery relating to time travel is the story of John Titor. John started posting stories on the internet claiming to be from the future and predicting many things, but suddenly disappeared and was never heard from again. For months he responded to many people answering questions on forums, and described future events and often stated to everyone that alternate realities do in fact exist. John also provided a number of technical specs regarding how time travel worked, with overly complex algorithms and grainy photos of his actual machine, which made time travel possible. On March 24, 2001, he signed off forever and was never heard from again. Many are skeptical of John's stories, while others do in fact believe him, and thinks this proves what time travel does exist, and further proves that parallel universes also exist. In at 2, we have space. Besides the ocean, space and the vast universe is the biggest mysteries we don't know about. The constant mystery and massive universe beyond our planet is proof in itself that there are in fact parallel universes. Since NASA's inception in 1958, they have been able to land astronauts on the moon, parked a robot-controlled rover on Mars, and discovered thousands of exoplanets, yet so much is still unknown. The size of the universe is unknown, and it might be infinite in extent. According to the Big Bang Theory, the very early universe was an extremely hot and dense state about 13.8 billion years ago, which rapidly expanded. Despite the harsh environment, several life forms have been found that can withstand extreme space conditions for extended periods. Species of lichen carried on the ESA Biopan facility survived exposure for 10 days in 2007. For humans in particular, space can be extremely dangerous, hence astronauts have to wear spacesuits outside of Earth's atmosphere. Conditions are hostile to the human body, and exposure to weightlessness has been shown to have massive effects on human health over time, but this doesn't mean other life forms couldn't survive, or that other planets or parallel universes exist beyond Earth. It's very hard for scientists and astronauts to research the universe and space, because it's unforgiving and doesn't allow us to rely on the same technology that we use here on Earth. Elon Musk is a large part of the exploration of space with this SpaceX technology, possibly giving us more answers of what lies beyond our planet, and more proof of parallel dimensions. It's so hard to have the exact answers about the universe or what the possibilities are. And finally, in at number 1, we have Deja Vu. All of us have experienced Deja Vu, at least one time in their lives, if not often, and many believe that Deja Vu is in direct correlation to parallel universes. Deja Vu is derived from the French meaning already seen. It's the feeling of having already experienced the present situation. It seems to spark our memory of a place we have already been, a person we have already seen, or an act we have already done. Deja vu is associated with temporal lobe epilepsy. This experience is a neurological anomaly related to epileptic electrical discharge in the brain, creating a strong sensation that an event or an experience currently being experienced has already been experienced in the past. Migraines with aura are also associated with deja vu. Early researchers tried to establish a link between deja vu and mental disorders like anxiety, dissociative identity disorder, and schizophrenia, but failed to find correlations of any diagnostic value. A 2008 study found that deja vu experiences are unlikely to be pathological dissociative experiences. Certain drugs have proven to increase the chance of experiencing deja vu in the user. Some pharmaceutical drugs, when taken together, have also been implicated in the cause of deja vu. A case had been reported of a healthy male who started experiencing intense and recurrent sensation of deja vu upon taking 2 drugs together to relieve flu symptoms. Research has associated deja vu experiences with good memory functions. Recognition memory enables people to realize the event or activity that they are experiencing has happened before. When people experience deja vu, they may have their recognition memory triggered by certain situations which they have never encountered. Dreams are also believed to be associated with deja vu, and they're related in 3 different aspects. Firstly, some experiences duplicate the situations in dreams instead of waking condition. Secondly, people may experience deja vu because some elements in their remembered dreams were shown. Thirdly, people may experience deja vu during a dream state, which links deja vu with dream frequency. Many scientists and theorists believe that deja vu could be a window into a parallel universe.
Number 5 on this list is Greta Thunberg. Greta is a 19-year-old Swedish activist who is known for challenging world leaders to act faster and more appropriately to the ever-changing climate. She's been heralded by many as a young hero and has received many awards for just overall excellence in the short time that she's been alive. There may be a parallel universe out there though where Greta isn't living with us now. The Guardian says, could Greta Thunberg be a time traveler sent from the future to save humanity from the unfolding climate crisis? A bunch of Twitter users seem to think so after the photograph of a young Klondike gold miner bearing a striking resemblance to the Swedish activist was discovered this week. The now viral 1898 image of the 3 children operating a gold mine in Canada's Yukon Territory is part of a sprawling collection by the documentary photographer Eric Hegg. Near the end of the 19th century, the Swedish-American captured some of the most iconic images of people hoping to make their fortunes in the rugged north. One of the children looks eerily similar to the 16-year-old activist, famous for her Friday climate strikes in both the intensity of her stare and long braided hair. To those saying, how can she be in the past if she's from the future? Obviously, as a time traveler, she can travel to any time period. She obviously tried to go back 120 years, didn't work, and now she's here. Obviously, tweeted the writer Jack Strange. None of the children in the photograph are named, making it difficult to determine their identities. Only the date and location, Dominion Creek, are known. The image nonetheless captures the gritty reality many families faced as they searched frantically for gold. So the internet seems to think she's a time traveler, but I'm not as convinced. In my opinion, this photo could just as easily mean that there are parallel universes. Maybe in a parallel universe, Greta was actually born in the 1800s as a gold miner. Maybe that happened in one universe, but we're living in the universe where Greta actually was born as a Swedish activist. Comment down below what you think this means, cause it could mean a lot, guys. Number 4 on this list is the TV. So this next photo was posted to BuzzFeed a while ago and shows something super strange happening. A phenomena that just does not make any sense and leads me to think that something could be going down here. As we can see in this photo, we have a lovely kitty taking a snooze. It's lying on some white and blue bed sheets in a pretty small room. The room is mainly white and has a red fan on the floor, and the door is open, showing that there's another white room beyond it. Everything is normal up to this point until you look at the TV. On the TV in the actual room, there is very clearly a black man turning and looking past to the camera. He looks like he could be in a car or on a boat or something like that. Then we look into the mirror on the left side, and that isn't what we see at all. Instead of a black man looking back, it's a white kid looking forward. Now, what's really interesting about this is the subtitles in the middle of the screen. I actually can't make out what they say, but they're both yellow and look to be in the same font. Also, when we look from image to image, it seems like the boy could be having a conversation with the man, which then leads me to believe that this is actually the same movie or show, but it's playing at a different time. Now, how is that possible? Well, I will answer that for you. It isn't. Maybe though, there's a parallel universe out there where the exact same thing is playing out, but the person who's watching this movie in that universe is just a little further ahead or behind. And maybe somehow what they were doing bled over into our universe. It's obviously a stretch, but we're in uncharted territory here. Number 3 on this list is the dog driver. Alright guys, so this one is definitely a silly entry on the list for sure. Ever wondered what it would be like to live in a world where instead of people running it, it was actually dogs? Well, I guarantee you have. I mean, Hollywood basically makes a movie a year based on this premise alone. Well, it's all fine and dandy until we get down to the nitty-gritty of how that would actually look, and then it starts to get a little scary. This next photo is gonna show a dog literally driving a car. Let's pull that up. So obviously this was just a weird photo taken at the worst possible time where the dog happened to get his face there, but it looks really weird. Anyways, first thing about this, the person who's actually driving that car probably needs to rethink their driving habits. I love dogs just as much as the next guy, but you have to think that having your good boy in the front seat like that probably isn't the safest. Second, I am all for the premise of dogs running the world, like, that'd be pretty funny, but it's the human hands that get me. Like, we just get this weird dog-human split, which just makes me want to barf. Who knows though, maybe there is a literal parallel universe out there somewhere where this is exactly what it's like. I mean, if the multiverse is infinite, then there probably would be one out there where dogs and humans are just one creature. Number 2 in this list is the glitch in the garden. That is actually what BuzzFeed is calling this next picture, and I think it's a pretty fitting name. In this next image, you are gonna think that you're seeing double. 2 old guys dressed exactly the same and looking like the exact same person. Now listen, folks, I understand, when you reach a certain age, your sense of fashion sort of goes out the window and you stop caring. You end up with a few different outfits and that's just gonna be that. But this is a bit extreme, I'd say. Am I meant to believe that 2 men who look exactly the same, who stand the same, who have the same cane, and are also dressed totally identically, happen to be in the same garden at the same time? All of that is really hard to believe. And it's really hard to believe because it didn't actually happen. Apparently the person who took this picture only took the picture of one person, her grandfather. There was only one man there when she took the photo, but 2 people showed up when she looked at it back. Maybe this is evidence of a parallel universe. One where the old man, her grandfather, is also at the garden that same day and is just slightly ahead or behind of her actual grandfather. Same sort of idea with the movie that we looked at, but even more extreme because it isn't through a mirror and it's with a whole human being. Just a time lapse where she caught her other grandfather in a slightly different position and it bled into our world. Comment down below if you've ever experienced anything like this before in your own personal life. And finally, number 1 on this list is the Iceless Planet. This is an image of a parallel universe that is sadly coming to pass sooner than we would hope. If parallel universes are truly real, then there would be a universe out there that has gone through what I'm about to show you and is living in it right now. We have the power to stop this universe from reaching us, but we may need to listen to our pal Greta a little bit more. Here is North America if all of the ice in the world melted. This universe is slowly becoming more of a reality for us every day that passes by. This is why this photo is probably the scariest on this list, because it's a universe that we're actually slowly creating for ourselves right now. As we can see in the photo, Montreal, San Fran, Miami, New York, Honolulu, these are just some of the big cities that are now completely underwater due to all of the ice melting. This will cause a chain reaction of horror that I don't think any of us can even begin to comprehend. Like, not only are tons of massive cities going to be totally underwater, but the effects this would have on the ecosystem and the economy, they'd be horrible. We just need to change a little bit quicker and stop this parallel universe from ever actually occurring.